Hey peeps, we're recording downstairs today. I hope you all enjoy looking at my bookcase today. One of a few that I have in the apartment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I don't know, just kind of like a little witchy chat, but then I wanted to talk about two decks that I've been pairing together right now. And kind of this is a little bit of a further down the path with the Love Your Inner Goddess Oracle. But I do want to talk about the deck that I'm pairing it with right now and just how much I'm enjoying working with both of these two ladies together. So in my personal practice right now, I've definitely been working with being gentle with my physical body and trying my hardest not to step into burnout, even though my body gave me a little bit of that this week with the two-day migraine there. So in my personal practice, I've been doing a lot of daily draws and pulls with, at this point in time, the goddess Isis for where I'm at in my journey. So you guys know, like last month and the month before, I was really working with Venus, very hardcore. And then we had a really beautiful Sabbath experience on Beltane with Venus, and it was like right after that, Hecate kind of kicked the door down and was like, now it's my turn, which was very surprising. I was speaking with a fellow priestess yesterday who was saying that too, surprised to see Hecate this time of year. She doesn't usually like come to hang out with me this time of year. But she did, she has. So she and Isis have been pretty strong in my practice right now. And I had a really powerful reawakening to like another layer of my priestesshood over the last week. So I've really been working on just nurturing and building that connection with Isis as I channel at a deeper level in her honor. So those have been some things that I've been focused on in my path, and just really looking at the body as such a gift for our soul's journey, and how can I be gentle and take care of my body in a way that allows me to be running at optimum speed for my work. So yeah, there's been a really beautiful settling into my skin and my bones and my power that I'm really, really grateful to be experiencing at this time in my journey. Another thing that's come up to be explored is this aspect, and I have several other mentor students and witches that I'm currently working with at this point in time who are exploring this on their path as well. And so, you know, as you hold space for this, you learn yourself too, right? For this wild woman aspect within each of us. And how to embrace that part of yourself instead of editing it or chaining it away, you know, but like really looking at the work piece of that, not the placating way that we talk about that in our communities, but more of the actual embodiment and bringing to the table of the wild woman, and seeing her worth and value, you know, and not only letting her out in an acceptable way. That's been very interesting, kind of unpeeling and pulling back those layers. And there's a new moon in Taurus. We've had a lot of Jupiter just moved into Taurus as well. We've had like a lot of big astrological shifts and energy moving in and out. And so just kind of being present with those flows, you know, like my body has definitely been a little more tired than normal. So if you've been feeling that too, just be gentle with yourself. But there's I guess maybe like a power to confronting fears that we might have that really sets us free. And I've been finding in my personal card work that, you know, working with tarot and oracle as these beautiful sacred tools to communicate from the divine wisdom around embracing, acknowledging, confronting fear, this has been something really beautiful to explore too. So the two decks that I've been working with personally for my daily draws over the last 2 or 3 weeks is the Love Your Inner Goddess Oracle and the Coastal Curiosities Oracle. This is an independently produced deck. This is a mass-produced deck by Alana Fairchild and Lennox Reese. Hello, Ivy Lai. She is the independent artist and creator of Coastal Curiosities Oracle. Oh, there go the words again. That's fun. So I'm going to talk about Coastal Curiosities in a moment, but first I want to talk about Love Your Inner Goddess. I have such a love-hate relationship with this deck. There are times when I really feel like, and I'll show you some images while I'm talking. There are some times when I really feel like this deck is trite and it doesn't, you know, I don't know, the difference with this deck is that the imagery and the guidebook is, I want to make sure I say this right, but it's how I feel about this deck. The guidebook is so much deeper than the imagery in this deck. And I forget. And so sometimes when I'm looking at the imagery, I'm like, oh man, this deck just stays so like surface level, sacred feminine. And it feels a little trite and a little teenagery, even though like I appreciate the artwork and I've done reviews on this deck and talked about this deck on the channel over the years. So like, and I don't, it's not ever disappeared from my collection. And if I did, I replaced it relatively quickly. So I think it's important to remember with this deck that the guidebook is such a gem. And so this time around, what I've been doing is every morning I pull and really focusing on the guidebook message in Love Your Inner Goddess, and then marrying that to the guidebook and imagery within Coastal Curiosities. And really, I feel like the guidebook to Love Your Inner Goddess is deepening the message that I also receive from Coastal Curiosities. So the guidebook for Love Your Inner Goddess, it seems like a short and sweet Alana guidebook, but it's really, it's really a powerful guidebook, especially when it comes to working with the sacred feminine, working with the divine feminine, walking a path that is divine feminine focused. And I think over the last 9 or 10 months, really, I've been able to understand at a new level just how much my work with the dark feminine and the sacred feminine is like literally permeates my pores, and it's my whole life path, and it's very much my purpose. And so as I've really stepped into that, like letting it radiate and permeate and be a part of like everything within my life, that there isn't any separation from that as I've stepped into, again, like a more nuanced level with that. Because I think the thing about a spiral path is you understand that you're going to come back to things, but when you come back, it's not a backtracking, it's a deepening into that wisdom, right? So as I've really been embracing that in my personal path, looking at the guidebook to Love Your Inner Goddess as like a direct message for me from Isis every day. I would also say, if you connect with the Magdalene, this is a really great deck to use for messages from the Magdalene. And Alana talks about that in the guidebook too. Like there'll be various times when she references the Magdalene and as well as Mother Mary. And so if that's a face of the goddess that you really feel called to in your personal practice, I think this deck can really serve as a powerful tool of messages from your goddess of choice. And it's been fascinating to see how many of my wonderful viewers in my community are really exploring authentic connection with deity right now. It's really exciting to me to see. And I think this is a deck where if you are looking to explore that and experience deeper connection with your goddess of choice, then this is a deck that can help you to do that, with the understanding that the artwork is a little cutesy at times, and that you have to, I think, let me show you here. So in the guidebook, what I've found really important is to kind of not use it like she necessarily has it set up. Let me see here so I can show you. So she has like 3 sections in the guidebook. So she has the card meaning in a reading, then the spiritual message, and then she has a ritual that you could, like Alana always has a ritual for her cards and her decks, right? So that's par for the course, but, or whatever the right phrase is there. But here, what I do is instead of only reading one of these paragraphs, I've found that I'm getting a lot more out of this deck by reading both. And then meditating for at least a few minutes and doing some journaling around what comes up for me personally based on that message, married to my Coastal Curiosities Oracle pull. So that's been really empowering, and it's really felt like a very clear line of communication with Isis for me every day. So if you are looking at on your path and you want to step into more daily communication with your goddess or God or aspects or faces of deity that you're walking with, or your guides or your angels, I really encourage you to find an oracle or a tarot deck that you feel like really resonates with how you experience their energy. And then look at that as the go-between. Look at that as the tool that allows both of you to communicate with each other. And ask, what message is it that you have for me today? You know, that pull doesn't always have to be what's going to happen today or what do I need to know about my day. It can also be a way that you receive a message from your deity of choice. And you can even do a pull that's more divinatory for your daily pull along with a message from your deity. But I think that there's a lot you can get out of carving out some time in your day at a daily level, if possible, to connect in with your deity of choice. And decks are a wonderful way to do that, you know, with the understanding that it's coming through the lens of someone else's voice and experience. So you take things with a grain of salt. You know, I don't take everything in the Love Your Inner Goddess Oracle as the gospel truth. I take what I feel like resonates with Isis and myself at this point in time, and I don't worry about the rest of it. And I might go to another deck to receive a more nuanced aspect of the message. All of this is to facilitate the communication with deity, right? So, but I've really been finding that the connection of Love Your Inner Goddess, working primarily with the guidebook and like allowing my love-hate relationship with the artwork to go. Because sometimes I enjoy it and sometimes I'm like, this is too freaking cutesy and it's irritating me. Like it's making me want to punch the wall, which, you know, is always a good sign that you're getting activated around something, right? So really the deck is doing its job. But yeah, like I have this love-hate with the deck, but I have to say this time around, really focusing on both of those messages in the guidebook has just shown me so much. There's such a wealth of wisdom to be found within it, and really an encouragement on if you want to walk a path daily that is connected with and in unison with the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, goddess energy, whatever you would like to call that. So what I've been enjoying is the whimsical nature of the Coastal Curiosities guidebook, and most especially the Coastal Curiosities artwork. As you guys know, and I talked about in my unboxing, I've had a really personal and powerful experience with the Coastal Curiosities Oracle. It really reminds me of my great-grandmother and my favorite coastline, which is the New England coastline, northern New England coastline. And yeah, this deck I don't feel any resistance with. It's just pure love. But what I'm really loving is the guidebook too. So the guidebook to the Coastal Curiosities, and I'm going to do a full review on this deck. I just need to give it a few more weeks because it's not really fair to the other decks. Like I've only had this deck for a couple weeks and I've been using it constantly. I do have a favorite right now, and everybody knows. Tarot of Vampires has thoughts. But the guidebook is written in this really beautifully whimsical, just delightful way that kind of is inspiring and ambiguous. And it kind of like, I've actually been writing more poetry just based on working with the guidebook because it kind of gets me into a little different bit of headspace. So what I've been finding is the Coastal Curiosities pull and the guidebook message for the card with that is really like opening, expansive, creative flow. And then I anchor into the message from the Love Your Inner Goddess Oracle, which is really very like being in the physical body, anchoring the soul into the body, being present to larger, not that, because Coastal Curiosities does cover this too, but just like being open to more specific, focused dialogue with Deity. So it's like this beautiful, these two decks have a really beautiful flow. So if you have both of these decks, then I would really encourage you to explore like daily pull with both of them, considering the Love Your Inner Goddess message as really a message from your goddess of choice. And then the Coastal Curiosities, like I kind of look at the Coastal Curiosities as like the elemental beings and the nature beings and animal spirit magic and plant magic, because that's included in this deck. And then looking at that as their message for me. And then the marriage of the two creates this really beautiful play and creativity aspect that, yeah, I'm like really in love with. I'm really, really, really enjoying my daily pulls with these two decks. And you wouldn't think to look like, here's my draw from today. Like you wouldn't think to put them together, but they kind of work in this weird way. I'm totally smitten. I love it. But I pulled a card for us all together from Coastal Curiosities, and I want to read the guidebook message for you, because you have to read the guidebook to get like how really cool and funky and unique the point of view from the channeling of the message. You're gonna see. I'm gonna read it for you. So the card that I pulled for us is Gradual, and this is the imagery. And it does have the teardrop, which there are like 4 suits, you could say. The droplets represent love, honesty, and emotion. So we could definitely relate that to the suit of cups. So I'm going to read to you the guidebook meaning here for Gradual, if I can find it. Here we go. So the key words are cautious, might, and steady. And here is what it looks like. So you can see. You're gonna see, I love how curious and quaint and cool the writing is in this guidebook. Thoughtful decisions and actions come from slow growth and understanding that swift urgency limits reactions and energy. Taking incremental steps towards something more significant or prominent than yourself is how to achieve and keep marching forward. At times there is a purpose for moving furiously, but weigh your calculations before chomping away at editing your interpretations. Feel the freedom and ease of what you've built up as a protective layer amongst the noise, but don't let that deter your development. And then there's a paragraph on the imagery. The old shelved typewriter gradually continues its productivity with other opportunities. Pink hyacinth, rockslide larkspur, and yellow marigolds find unexpected communities in an unlikely place. Fall and apple blossoms provide an eastern box turtle refreshments while cruising by cooling coral. It's just the flow of the words that's very like lyrical, and I feel like she gives you like a few different chunks of wisdom to kind of let you decide how it's going to play out for you. But it's so whimsical that it really like opens up my creativity around something, and I'm kind of like, wait, what were we talking about? And then like, oh, okay, that's kind of like opening up a new perspective for me. So it's a good guidebook for kind of, again, shifting perspective and encouraging creativity, and you can really flow with the meanings. An example of this is like thoughtful decisions and actions, taking incremental steps forward. At times there's a purpose for moving furiously. Feel the freedom and ease of what you built up. It's just kind of ambiguous, but not in a way where there isn't intention and presence and thought. That's why I like whimsical, because I feel like it's encouraging you to really apply what resonates for you. And I really like how it works with the more focused aspect of Love Your Inner Goddess. So I'm gonna like marry this how I would do this in my daily draw. So there's that pull. Now I'm gonna pull from here for us. So, oh, Soul Sisters. that's kind of perfect for this. But you see how you look at this and you see the like quaint writing and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like so cliche and so bleh. But the guidebooks do make a difference. And in this situation, we're not working with divination. It isn't about not needing to reference a book. These daily oracle pulls are about referencing your guidebook. So in a reading, you are being emotionally and psychologically influenced by the people around you more than you may realize. Sometimes this is good. They uplift and inspire you and help you feel loved and loving. However, sometimes you can sense that being truly yourself in a situation could result in unwanted conflict, and you undermine yourself to keep the peace. You'll find that the moment you stop doing this, some difficulties you've been having in moving forward will fall away. Almost as if by magic, the relationships worth holding onto can handle a little more truth, even if feathers get ruffled before being smoothed over with love once more. Now, spiritual guidance. Some relationships nourish your soul whilst others damage it. A nourishing relationship has an effect on your soul, just like nourishing food does on your body. It makes you feel good, increases your energy to live your life, and enhances your well-being. Healthy relationships for your soul are those that uplift, inspire, and help you become more of yourself with fearlessness. They do not drag your spirit down into anxiety and confusion. Some people may love you, but just not know how to be in a relationship with you that is healthy for your soul. With such people, you will either need to show them how to be in your life in a soul-loving way or take extra special care of yourself when you are around them. Sometimes this will not be enough to protect you from the negative influence of the relationship and you will need to walk away. This can be sad, yet it also creates space for your soulmates to enter your life. These are the people with whom you share a deep and real connection. You love each other in a way that frees you to be yourselves. We attract new soulmates into our world by being good to ourselves. Be your own best friend first. Require respect in your relationships. Then you will find it easy to recognize the people who genuinely love you and invite them into your heart. So you see how you get so much more from the guidebook than what comes through just in the imagery. It's like, oh, okay, sisters, like, okay, great friends. Like, am I dealing with friends today? Is that a theme? The guidebook gives you, like, really fleshes out the meaning. And then when you put both of these together, gradual and soul sisters, you can see that you're being encouraged to take slow, methodical, steady movement in a direction of having more boundaries that respect your time and space with the people in your life. And so you see, you put them together, you get this really beautiful, clear message. And, you know, with lots of space to journal about the nuances of that for yourself. And that's what I'm loving about pairing these two together. So I did choose to pull and read for everyone on camera because several of you have been asking me to do that a little bit more in video, to kind of do a little pull for everyone. So I hope that you enjoyed that. And I hope if that message resonates today, to have slow, methodical, careful movement, being very aware of your healthy boundaries and asking that the people around you respect that. And if they don't, not accepting that type of behavior. So yeah, these two decks are so cool together. I've really been enjoying the pairing, and I wanted to share it with you guys in case you haven't paired them together or really thought about it, or if you have the Love Your Inner Goddess and you don't know what the hell to do with the deck, because I really don't use it in client readings anymore because it just hasn't been feeling right. But I don't know, I might bring it into readings a little bit more now that I'm getting more connected to the guidebook, because like I said, for me, it's really, the guidebook is the sweet spot here. And the guidebook is where I find really powerful, poignant messages from Isis and from Hecate, but really primarily, I do feel Isis with this deck more than Hecate. So I hope you are all doing well out there in the world. I'm sending you guys, as always, so much love and many blessings, and I will see you in the next video.